Hey everyone, I'm back to teach you surface area of triangular prisms. I will do my best not to make it as long as yesterday, but yesterday was an introduction, so I wanted to make sure that I really spent some good time on the introduction. Again, this is a 7th and 8th grade lesson. So in 7th grade, I'm going to focus more on the nets, and then on the 8th grade lesson, I'm going to focus more on the formula. A triangular prism is composed of the following faces. We have 3 rectangular faces. Connecting the bases. 2 triangular bases that are parallel and congruent. Remember, the bases of a three-dimensional object never touch. All right, so on the left-hand side, we have the three-dimensional shape, which when we get to 8th grade material, we can use the formula for that. But the way we're going to be testing in 7th grade is sometimes you may have to draw out the net. In this case, they gave us the net. So basically, we have 3 rectangles here. And then we have 2 triangles. So the first thing we need to do is start labeling this. I'm going to start with my triangle because they tell me that the height of my triangle is 4. The dog water of my triangle is 5. That is called the slant height. Now this connects to this side. So when I fold it, that means that's 5 as well. This side connects to this side, so when I fold it, that is 5 as well. The only one we need to figure out is the bottom of my triangle. So the bottom of my triangle, we can go right here and see that it's 6. Notice the dimensions are not all the same, which means this rectangle in the middle is different. All right, so let's get started. I'm looking at rectangle, oh, we forgot the 9. We forgot this right here, and that is 9. So 9 all the way across. This is 9, this is 9, this is 9, and this is 9. So here we go. I'm looking at A, and A is a rectangle. I know the two dimensions on my rectangle for A is 5 times 9. And 5 times 9 is 45 centimeters squared. We know that C matches, so it's also 45 centimeters squared. Now when I look at B, B is a 6 by 9. Again, this is 7th grade, so we shouldn't be touching the calculator. So if you have your calculator on, go ahead and turn it off for a little bit. 6 times 9 is 54. So 54 centimeters squared. Both of my triangles are congruent. To find the area of a triangle, you're going to do base times height divided by 2. Let me put that out here. 1/2 times base times height, or base times height divided by 2, however you'd like to look at it. 1/2, the base is 6, the height is 4. So I'm going to ask, can I take half of one of those? Yep, it doesn't matter which one. Just remember, you cannot take half of both. You can only pick one. Half of 6 is 3, and 3 times 4 is 12 centimeters squared. Now what you're going to do is add all those up without your calculator to get the area of this composite figure. I'm sorry, I went back to composite figures. To find the surface area of this triangular prism, which was laid out like a composite figure. All right, so when I add all that up, I get 168 centimeters squared. All right, that next one has some decimals, so let's just move on to the next page. So turn your page and let's go to number 2. So I'm on the next page, and it says find the lateral Remember from yesterday, lateral does not include the bases. So if I was looking at lateral, it would be my rectangles. If I'm looking at the total surface area, I'm going to add all my triangles. So again, lateral does not include your bases. So let me go ahead and just leave my bases highlighted. All right, here we go. I know from here to here is 5, so when I fold this, that's also 5. Here to here is 5. When I fold it, that is also 5. Same thing on the other side. All of these are 12. We know that this one has to be 6 because that's 6. All right, we have all of our numbers. Now let's do our formulas. So I'm looking at the top rectangle. The top rectangle is area equals base times height. Area equals 12 times 5. Area equals 60 feet squared. We know the top one and the bottom one are the same. So that would be times 2. Now let's do the middle. Area equals base times height. Area equals 12 times 6. Area equals 72 feet squared. Now we add that together, so we have 120 plus 72 equals 192. So the lateral, I forgot to write that inside, is 192 feet squared. Now some of you might be thinking, well, Miss Emerine, couldn't I have just done one big rectangle? Sure. If that's what you want to do, go for it. That would be a 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 6 is 16, and 16 times 12 should give you 192. But that is not the way we teach it. So keep that in mind for you higher level people. Now I have my triangle. Area equals 1/2 times base times height. Because now I'm looking for the total. And remember, the total is going to add on your bases. So I have 1/2 times the base is 6. The height is 4. And when I take half of one of those, I'll just take half of the first one is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So each triangle is 12. So we're going to take the 192 and we're going to add on 24. Because each triangle is 12. So that would give us 216 feet squared. All right, here we go. Find the lateral and total surface area of the prism. So we know when we close this off right here, that's got to be 3. When we close this side is 5, this side has to be 5. We know dog water there is 5. We know this height is 4. We know this is 9. I think we're ready. So I'm looking at that top rectangle. That top rectangle is a 9 by 5, and 9 times 5 is 45. The middle rectangle is a 4 by 9. That's 9. 4 times 9 is 36. The bottom rectangle is a 3 by 9, which is 27. Notice that all 3 rectangles are different sizes. Can anybody tell me why that you think they're all different sizes? If you look at your triangle is a scaling triangle. It has 3 different sizes. So if it has 3 different sizes, you're going to have 3 different areas for your rectangles. All right, so here we go. The lateral, I'm going to add those 3 together. And when I add those 3 together, I get 108 centimeters squared. All right, now we're going to write out your triangle. 1/2 times, find your right angle. That means 5 is dog water. 3 times 4. Half of 4 is 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. The most common mistake people make is they're going to use that dog water number. So each triangle is 6. We have 2 of them. Your triangles are always going to be congruent as your bases. So when I add those 2 together, I get 12. Add that on to 108, and I come up with 120 centimeters squared. All right, we're going to do one last problem, which is this one. I think of this, and this may be silly to each of you, this is a jewelry box, but I think of when you go to Burger King, and if you've ever received one of their pies, they're delicious, by the way. This is exactly what the box looks like. So I want you to envision that piece of pie, and I have a box that I'm going to show you when I get back. Remember, you have to have 2 congruent bases. You can clearly see that the top here and the bottom down here are your bases. But notice that we don't have a net. Well, guys, they're not always going to draw it out as a net on star or on anything. So sometimes we have to take it and decompose it, is what we're going to do right now. So how many bases do I have? 2. So I have 2 triangles. So when I find the area of a triangle, it's 1/2 times base times height. 1/2, find your right angle. There it is. Remember, that connects your base and your height together. 3 times 4. Half of 4 is 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. So 6 inches squared. Now I'm going to do this rectangle on the left-hand side, so I'm only looking at that one rectangle. Area of a rectangle is base times height. You might want to go down here and put times 2 because we have 2 of them. Area equals, so this is a 3 by 2. Can everybody see 3 by 2? The area of that rectangle is 6. Now I'm going to do this back rectangle. Again, area is equal to base times height. Area is equal to, well, this side is 4, and we know that the height is 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. One last rectangle is the one right here in the front. So notice I'm saving the front to last because notice how the colors are overlapping, and I don't want that when I'm trying to work my problem here. So rectangle, color that in. Area equals base times height. I'm only looking at the front now, so it's a 2 by 5. Area equals 2 times 5. Area equals 10. Now that I have all my areas, I'm just going to add them together. Well, let's go back to our triangles. My triangles are my base, and I know I have 2 of them. So 6 times 2 is 12. One rectangle is 6, another rectangle is 8, and the front rectangle is 10. Add those together. "36 inches squared." All right, when you look at the next page, that should be your independent practice. So now the next page should be your 8th grade lesson. So let's go ahead and switch to our 8th grade lesson, which is where we are going to use our calculator. Sorry, I was trying to multitask there and I wasn't getting my words right. Surface area of triangular prisms. Now, we're going to use the same formula as yesterday. So let's talk about it. S is equal to big PH. So the big P stands for perimeter of your base. But today, our base is a triangle. So we're just going to take the perimeter of the triangle. And then that's for lateral. Multiply it by the height of your prism. If they ask us for the total, then we're going to add on 2 areas of my base. So let's get this started. triangular prisms are made up of the following faces. Now, we already did this. We know that it's two triangular parallel and congruent faces. The lateral is the 3 rectangle. The height of a triangular prism, or h, is the distance between the 2 bases. So here we go. There's one base, there's the other base. Where they connect right here, that is my height of my prism. All right, again, we did this yesterday. The big P stands for perimeter. The H stands for the height. We're gonna add on 2 bases. All right, so let's see what we got. Give me 1 second. I think I'm still in the 7th grade lesson on my side. So give me 1 hot second. Yeah, I was. Sorry about that. 8th grade. Let's go back. Let's talk about this, especially if you were absent yesterday. So if you go back and watch the video from yesterday's lesson, you will notice that big P stands for the perimeter of the base. Today, our base is a triangle. So we're going to find the area of that triangle. And then we're going to multiply it by the height of the prism. And then to get our total surface area, we're going to add on 2 bases because I have 2 bases. So let's get started. All right, here we go. We're going to do just like yesterday. P, H, B. Now the perimeter is the perimeter of the base. So probably the best thing to do every single time is to go ahead and just color in your bases. The bases are congruent to each other. So I know that this is 13. This is 12. And my height is 5. So I'm going to give you a second to add those up. You can use your calculator because now we're on 8th grade. 13 plus 12 plus 5 is 30 centimeters. Now the distance between my 2 prisms is right here, and that distance is 10 centimeters. If we do the upfront first, then all you have to do is plug in your formulas when we're ready for it. But right now we're just practicing finding P, H, and B. So now to find the area of the base, area equals 1/2 times base times height. So let me get rid of all this so we can do just our triangle. So here's my right angle, here's my right angle. The base of my triangle is 12. The height of my triangle is 5. Area equals 1/2 times 12 times 5. Half of 12 is 6, and 6 times 5 is 30. All right, let's look at the next one. We're not practicing the formula yet. We're just practicing P, H, and B. So remember, if I was to close that, there's my 2 bases. To find the perimeter, I would take 5 plus 5 plus 6, which would give me 16 feet. To find the height, I would do the distance between my 2 bases, which is 8 feet. And to find big B, remember big B is not the same as little b, we would do big B equals 1/2 times base times height. 1/2 times the base of my triangle is 6. The height of my triangle, because there's my right angle, remember we're not going to use this slant because that's dog water, is 4. Half of 6 is 3, and 3 times 4 is 12. All right, I'm going to give you a second, and I want you to try this one by yourself. All right, this is what I got. 36 millimeters for the perimeter. The height is 7 millimeters, and the base, the area of the base is 54 millimeters squared. I need to go back because I don't think I squared my area. You guys got to catch that. I bet you're telling me through the screen that I'm wrong. All right, here we go. Now let's turn the page and let's do our formulas. But remember, before we can plug anything in, we need to go ahead and take care of P, H, and B first. Now, I'm going to highlight my two bases. Today we know they're triangles. And to find the area of my triangle, the perimeter of my triangle, is I'm going to add each side. So we know that if this is 15, this is 15. If this is 20, this is 20. So we're going to do 25 on your calculator. 25 plus 20 plus 15 should give you 60. We know the height is the distance between the two bases, which is 22. Area of my triangle is 1/2 times base times height. 1/2 times the base of my triangle, because here's my right angle, is 20. The height is 15. Half of 20 is 10. And 10 times 15 is 150. Now that we know those, all we have to do is plug it into our calculator and we're done. So lateral surface area is big PH. We found P to be 60 times the height is 20. So do that on your calculator. 60 times 20. Oh wait, 22, not 20, sorry. Scratch that. 60 times 22 on your calculator. And that gives you 1,320 units squared, because they didn't give us any units on that one. Now, total is pH plus 2B. Now, we've already found pH to be 1320 plus two bases. Well, one base is 150. These two are attached by multiplication. So in your calculator, put that in. (1,620) units squared. All right, let's jump down to skip this one. And, oh, I do want to point out, notice that's going to be the height of your triangle. There's your right angle. Even though it's not inside, they didn't put it inside, that's going to be your height. All right, let's jump to this one. So the first thing we do is P, H, big B. And again, perimeter of your base. So there's one base, there's your second base. So I know my dimensions are a 10 by 10 by 16. So 10 plus 10 is 20. 20 plus 16 is 36. So the perimeter of my base is 36. The height of my prism is the distance between my two bases. In this case is 19. Area of your base is area equals 1/2 times base times height. 1/2 times, here's my right angle. My base is 16, my height is 8. Half of 16 is 8, and 8 times 8 is 64. So those are the three numbers we need to plug in our formula. It says find the lateral surface area of the figure. Be sure to show all your steps. Well, in this case, all they want is the lateral. So all I need is S equals pH. S equals 36 times 19. So if we would have read the directions first, we would have noticed that I didn't even have to find the area of the base because I don't need it for lateral. So on your calculator, do 36 times 19. and I got 684 units squared. And we're done. All right, let's go to this next one. Let me read the directions this time. Find the lateral surface area of the figure. Be sure to show all your steps. Okay, again, they only want us to find, okay, my slides say lateral, but your packet says total. So we're going to do what your packet says, but my numbers are the same. So we're going to do what your packet says. So P, H, B. The perimeter is 7 plus 24 plus 25. Hold on, my calculator is giving me trouble. 7 plus 24 plus 25 is 56. The height is the distance between the two bases, which is here and here and here, and that number is 17. And the area of my base is 1/2 times base times height. All right, so let's get rid of all this so we can just look at one triangle, this one base. Notice, here's my right angle. Your right angle connects your base to your height. So area is equal to 1/2 times 24 times 7. Well, I'm showing you this, but you can put it straight in your calculator. Half of 24 is 12. And 12 times 7 is, I can't even do that in my head. 12 times, is it 84? Yep, 84. All right, so now we have all three. We have our perimeter, we have our height, and we have our area of our base. Now, if it's asking us for total surface area, you can do it all in one line. We don't have to separate it. So S is equal to, the perimeter is 56. All we're doing is plugging in our numbers. The height is 17 plus 2 times 84. Now, obviously, you're definitely going to want to put that in the calculator. So you do that, I'm going to do it, and we're going to make sure we get the same answer. Now, I'm not using the fancy calculator like you, so I have to write down these numbers. You should have gotten 1,120 units squared. Notice there's no ugliness here because all your ugliness was done here in your work. All right, here we go. Wayne found the lateral surface area of the prism as shown in the picture. Did Wayne find the lateral surface area correctly? So we know lateral is pH. We would agree with that. So here's my triangle. There's my right angle. So it's 8 plus 15 plus 17. 8 plus 15 plus 17. Okay, that looks good. And then the height is the distance between the two. So the distance between my two is not 8, it is 18. So did he do it correctly? The answer to that is no. Okay, we're not going to solve it, but I just wanted to show you that. And you know I love these. Circle any true statement about the prism shown below. So we probably need to do P, H, big B. Here is my bases. So we have 8, 15, and 17. So let's add those together. 8 plus 15 plus 17 is 40, is what I got. Well, that's wrong, because that says the perimeter is 17. They only took one side. Everybody see that? The height is the distance between, let's change that color, between my two bases, and that number is 8.5. The height of the prism is 8.5, that's correct. the area of the base, area equals 1/2 times base times height, 1/2 times, okay, let's get rid of all this. On my triangle, let's locate our right angle. There it is. That connects my base to my height. So it's 15 times 8. Half of 8 is 4, and 4 times 15 is 60. So the area of the base, that's wrong. One guess what they forgot to do. That's right, they forgot to cut it in half. All right, so now that we have this, we can do, plug it straight into the formula. Now they want lateral and total, so we are going to have to do pH. And perimeter is 40. The height is 8.5. So on your calculator, 8.5 times 40 is 340. So that one's correct. 340. Now to do the total, S is equal to pH plus 2B. Well, we already know pH was 340 plus 2 bases, which is 60. So put that in your calculator. It should be 120 plus 340. And that gives me 460 inches squared. And that one is correct. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.